You guys were on campus. We ended up going to Target. We ended up spending another $400 at Target. And I don't know how long we were there. I know for a fact that we were in Target longer than we were in his room setting up both Friday night and Saturday afternoon.
I don't know what you spent money on. I don't know what you spent money on.
You start walking through Target with your friends and you're like, yeah, but you know what? I think he needs this. I think he needs this. This would look great. Here we are. We wanted to make sure that we followed up immediately after our Friday departure. So here we are. It's Tuesday. Talk about what happened.
Like you said, we drove down on Friday. So he's had a move-in date. That was Sunday morning. Mm-hmm. I think it's important to say, for the months leading up to move-in, we're looking at the website and the calendar, and we saw that Friday was the day that dorms open for freshmen. So I planned everything based on that day.
Yeah.
And we had family come to town, people who flew in, people who drove in. We had a surprise participation.
Right. It was just totally unplanned. I think the only thing that you and I were really focusing on was getting Michael packed and out of the house. And everything else, aside from Demi and your mom coming, was, you know, like, we just don't know. It's a possible, it's not a possible. Some we just didn't know about. So, like, it was this whirlwind of things happening, and we're inside the whirlwind just trying to make sure that Mike gets packed and down there at a certain day.
And he's being resistant because he's an 18-year-old and he's resistant.
Yes.
Whereas, you know, my 40-something-year-old brain is like, put all the work first so that you could chill, knowing that in the surety that the stuff is done.
Yeah.
And he doesn't think that way.
Yeah.
So it was uphill in that sense also.
Yes, it was.
And to get to the point, because we've been entrepreneurs for so long, my brain, it works in a counter-cyclical fashion. It means that if we're going to the beach, we're going on Wednesday. If I'm getting a haircut, I do it on Tuesday. We've been that way for so long.
Over a decade.
That's just how I think. Because I'm trying to
Avoid
the lines, and I'm also putting myself in position to serve when other people are consuming. So that's the deal. There's so much background, but it makes sense in a minute.
This is not going to be the short episode because it's necessary. It is so necessary to give, you know, parents this, you know, real live understanding of what day one, like the day before looks like, and then a couple days after. So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Friday comes. There are now 8 of us.
Yeah.
Going down to Greensboro.
Yeah.
In 2 cars, in 2 different times. Like,
With
we're
all his
leaving at
stuff.
2 different times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Each car has stuff loaded in the trunk.
Yeah.
And they're full.
Yes.
So in car 1, I got the boy. I've got the boy. I've got my brother. I've got half of his stuff. So we go down. And my intention is, if you're telling me that we're scheduled to move in on Sunday morning and people are flying out Sunday morning, I've got to push. I got to get it done.
Yeah.
So I called in advance. I emailed in advance. I didn't get any response. And I'm sure they were super busy. Then I called a couple times, and the guy finally probably got tired of hearing my voice. And I explained the situation to him, and he was like, well, we're not turning anybody away. So just have him come on down and check in. Mm-hmm. That's all you had to say to me.
Right.
And you had some resistance because I was saying, look,
Yes.
You're leaving later than me. I've got him with me. I don't want to be in a crowd, and I don't want to be in any lines because I have gone to an HBCU and I have stood in a line in August at an HBCU.
Yes.
And that sounds like death.
In this heat, yes.
I don't want to do that ever again in my life.
Yeah.
So anything I can do to avoid having to do that, I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I told you what my plan was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go down before you, and we're going to get his keys. And that way, we're not going to have to wait in line on Saturday or Sunday. You had some resistance to that because...
I did. I had a huge resistance to it because I felt like I wanted to be the one who walked through the room first. And like, you open the door for the first time and it's you and I and him and we're together and we're looking at his room for the first time and we're thinking about how we're going to plan out all of his things. And so I was really in my feelings about the fact that I wasn't going to be there for several hours before you got there. Mm-hmm. And that you guys were going to move his stuff in and be planning out, this is what we're going to put this here, we're going to put that there. And I'm like, I'm not involved. Like, I may want to put that over there, you know? So I was really in my feelings about that. Mm-hmm. Hours later, I I started thinking about the fact that, you know, it's probably smarter to move in Friday night if they give you the keys.
You're skipping. That's not what happened.
Okay. All right.
He said he's looking forward to going down and getting his keys so that he can leave something on the side of the room that he wants to choose.
Okay.
And he wants to kind of stake his claim.
True. Okay. Yeah.
And so that was, I think, what the first thing I heard back from you that wasn't resistance was, you know what, I'm over myself.
Yes. I had to get over myself.
It makes sense that he gets there and claims his space, if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah. I had to get over myself. And that was huge for me because it was like, it's very difficult for me and some of us to be like, you know, it's not about you. Mm-hmm. This is not about you. This is about him. You need to let yourself go and let him do him. So once I was able to do that and have that internal conversation with myself and listening to Brendan say, hey, I want to get my bed so I can choose which side. I'm like, it's not about you. Let that boy do that because that's important. So then I sent you a text and was like, hey, listen, while you guys are down there, go ahead and do you because I really want him to choose his side.
Right.
I'm over myself.
So at that point, the Impossible Mission Force went in. 3 dudes found the dorm. It looked it felt very much like my freshman dorm on Howard's campus. It felt like Drew Hall. Mm-hmm. And we went in, we checked in, they gave us the keys. One huge difference that made all the difference in the world from when I was in college to when he moved in is that there's, double furniture and there's 2 closets. But now the closets have locks on them. That's huge.
Yeah.
That made a huge difference because now we could unload the trunk. We didn't just have to get the keys. We were able to unload the trunk, just put all his bags into the trunk, into the closet that corresponded with that side of the room. And what we also came to find out was that was totally unnecessary because the university actually tells you which side of the room is yours.
Yeah.
And the keys correspond to your closet and everything. But that being said, I was able to empty my trunk out and put all his stuff inside and lock it and feel secure that the stuff is locked in safe overnight, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
So eventually you then showed up and we got together, we checked into the hotel and we had dinner. I went and grabbed pizza from the local downtown pizza spot.
We ate before we moved him in.
While you guys were checking in, that Russ and I were sitting there kind of like stewing, like, you know what? It's going to be 100 degrees tomorrow. It was 100 degrees today when we went there. It was 106 on my car. And I was like, I'm not trying to move all that stuff. So we at a minimum need to take the stuff out of your car and take it over also tonight. But at maximum, depending on how people feel after we eat, what if we did the whole thing tonight? Because we have the keys. They can't keep us out.
Yeah. Okay. So you proposed that, and it's now like 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. I'm already tired. There's a lot of emotion that goes into it. It's not about crying. It's just all of the things that you have to get done for work, and then all of the packing, and then traveling to get there. Now we're there. I'm tired. It's 9 o'clock.
Managing personalities as well.
I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right? But you're like, I think we should just get this done. My whole body has now just eaten. I want to go to sleep. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just suck it up and get it done. Let's just go. So we go. It's now cool. It's probably 70 degrees. It's dark. We move his stuff in. And we don't just move it in. Like, we pull out the spray. We start cleaning. And now there's 8 people in the room because his roommate's not there. There's 8 people in the room. And we've got like this train going. Everybody's doing something.
An assembly line.
Yeah,
for sure.
An assembly line. It's everyone's doing something. It was fantastic because we literally knocked his room out in an hour. Mm-hmm. Hanging up clothes, deciding where to put what, folding up the sweatshirts. Demi's organizing the drawers. Someone's cleaning and stacking stuff in his desk. And then you've got 2 or 3 people cleaning the mattress and dressing the bed. It was fantastic. We knocked that out in about an hour. So I'm really glad that we did that because the next day was extremely hot and everybody came.
And so that was a huge win. That's that counter-cyclical thinking that paid off.
Yes.
And it doesn't always pay off, but sometimes when it pays off huge.
It paid off huge. But here's the thing. For us, we both were like, we're not going to Target the day of. We're going to get everything that we need. We're going to go through this list of things they told us to get. We're going to get everything that we need. We're going to order from Amazon, buy it from Target, and then bring it down. That worked, but then that didn't work. because we ended up going to Target. Well, you guys were on campus. We ended up going to Target, and we ended up spending another $400 at Target. And I don't know how long we were there. I know for a fact that we were in Target longer than we were in his room setting up both Friday night and Saturday after
I
we
don't
brought
know
back all
what
the
you spent
stuff.
money on. I don't know what you spent money on.
You
I
start
didn't-
walking through Target with your friends and you're like, yeah, but you know what? I think he needs this. I think he needs this. This would look great. You know, now I know the size of his drawers. I know the size of the closet. I've touched it. I've felt it. I can see, you know, he's got a long side. He's got a short side. We use 10 hangers. He could probably use 5 more. There's just so many things. Oh, we can't forget snacks. Like, you're going to do Target no matter how hard you try, no matter how organized and all of the lists that you conquer before you get there, you're going to do Target while you're there.
Now, that's interesting because I knew I was never going to go. Like, I was not going to go. And
I wouldn't have taken you.
yeah, before we ever left the house and all those weeks leading up to moving in, I made a solemn pact with myself of things that I was not going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Also on that list of things I was not going to do was wait in an HBCU style registration line, period.
Yes.
Because the best way that that's going to play out is he can get in line and he can call me when he gets close and I'll walk up.
Yeah.
Right. So I expected the worst. I expected 1990s Howard University, August in DC, and I was pleasantly surprised because we didn't do that. That didn't happen. But part of that reason that didn't happen is, again, counter-cyclical thinking. Everywhere we went, we were first. We got there like Clark Griswold. We
Is
parked.
this because everybody else is moving in right now?
Everybody else is moving in, so we get to the spot where we're supposed to go now for the freshman check-in, where all the financial aid and all that kind of stuff is, and that was really what I was cautious of. I was like, that's where it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
We went into that part of the student center, and there were people who were kind of hanging out on the side, sitting in all the seats. And then there was an area where you kind of, like a movie theater, you know there would be a line here, but there's no line. Everybody's kind of sitting off, kind of chilling with their family and stuff. And there's these student ambassadors who are there who run the show, and they're kind of around. So I went up to one of them, and I said, hey, my son's appointment's at 11. You know, just guide me, direct me. And the guy goes, well, 11 is actually the first appointment. So as we get closer, we're going to form the line here. I was like, okay, cool. Is anybody sitting in these chairs back behind the stanchion? Oh, no, you can have them. Cool. Okay. So my brother and I sit down in the chairs behind the rope. And I said, Michael, stand right here in this line. The line that doesn't exist yet. and he did it. And that means he was first.
Yeah.
And so you can only go in with the student and one person. So I sat in the chair. I told his uncle, go in there with him. They were out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, we're at Target shopping while you guys are in the lines. And so you were like, this is one of several lines. And I was like, oh no, here come the lines. And then like 5 minutes later, you were like, done, on to line number 2. And so I was immediately like, okay, whatever this check-in process is, I'm already loving it.
Yeah. Plus it was indoor versus
Outdoor.
my line at Howard was across the yard
Yes, it
in
was.
August in DC.
Yeah.
This was indoors in an air-conditioned space. So huge win for 2021 A&T.
Yeah.
The second line was to come and get your card. Like, your card is like your life at school. So you swipe it for everything. And there was a line for that. And it went down the wall and turned the corner and went down the wall again. So again, I found some chairs. My brother and I sat down. I said, Mike, go get in that line. I said, and call me when you get close. But we sat in a place where he would have to walk past us to get in line. So the line went relatively quick. He was, way down there. Within 15 minutes, he was right by us. So we were looking at him. We're like, okay, when he turns this corner, we'll get up and go with him. We get up and go with him and stand there. And within within 2 minutes, a woman comes up with a badge on. She says, anybody in the line, last name letters M through Z? She stood.
Someone is looking down upon me.
She stood right there by us and said that. And I was like, yes. She was like, okay, you guys go straight up to the front. I was like, what? We went right back to our chairs. Like, go up to the front, son. Handle your business. He came out in 10 minutes.
That's outstanding.
What does that need? So, again, huge updates in the process, which have been fantastic. It's a different school altogether, so different brands.
Right.
It's decades later, so they've done so much better. And that was the end of registration. And he was checked into his room, and then that was it.
Yeah. Before we leave, okay, we're at Sunday about to leave him we're leaving you here. We are about to head home. you believed wholeheartedly you were not going to have any problem cutting the cord. Like, I'm going to be able to throw you some kisses and walk away.
I'm not kissing him.
This is not what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
At some point, it was like you would finish the conversation and we'd all give the hugs like, okay, son, love you, make good choices, see you later. And as I'm like taking a step towards the door, you're like, so let me talk to you about your computer. And I'm like, did he just start another conversation?
Yeah, but who said I was ready to go? Just because you were ready to go doesn't mean that it was time to go.
There were so many conversations started after they were finished. I was like, he's struggling. He doesn't want to leave.
That's not what
I
happened.
can totally see that he doesn't want to leave, and he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't want to leave. But I know that you believe that that's the case. I just need you to understand from a perspective that is not yours. It was very obvious you were struggling.
It was not done. So if the job is not done, why are we leaving?
There's so many things that are not done, but like, what are you talking about that wasn't done?
Okay, let me ask you a counter question. Open your phone and show me the picture of Michael standing between his mother and father before we left. I'll wait.
Are you saying that we didn't take that picture?
I'm saying we didn't take that picture.
But he's an hour away.
It's not move-in day. That's like saying, well, Christmas was on the 25th and he's an hour away. I can give it to him in February. We didn't take that picture because you were in a rush to go. You were in a rush to go because you had friends with you.
No.
You weren't focused. You did not focus on the things that should be done before we leave.
No.
You were in your car with the air conditioning on and the car running, ready to go.
Because it was hot.
It wasn't done, though.
But it wasn't because I was with anyone. We've said goodbye. Like, how many times do I need to say goodbye? I'm going to see him soon.
Okay, so is a late Christmas gift acceptable?
I don't even know why we're talking about Christmas. This has nothing to do.
I'm saying time. Does timing matter or does timing not matter? If it's somebody's birthday and you can either wish them happy birthday on their birthday and be with them on their birthday, or be with them after their birthday at some point in time, just because being together, does it matter or does it not matter?
I would choose to be with them on their birthday if they have the ability. If I can't, then
That's my point. So we don't have a picture that happened on the whole weekend that is just me, you, and a son who moved out.
Okay. I don't remember you saying that was important. We were standing there for quite some time before I left. So was there some reason that wasn't mentioned?
It wasn't all done.
Because there were so many other pictures that were taken. You know, like pictures were taken all day. So
I just use that as an example of, like, don't be in a rush to go if this is the moment. If this is the moment, like, be in the moment,
like,
and flesh the moment out, and
I'm
then
fine with that,
go.
But like, how many moments do we have?
We have the day before we drive home, so it ends when we get in the car and leave. And so you were ready to get in the car and leave, but was it all done?
In my mind, it was, because no one said, "Hey, we need to take a picture of the three of us."
But you know that's the thing. Like you would expect any other circumstance.
I could totally understand that, but it hadn't occurred to me because we had literally been taking pictures right before we got there. We took a whole lot of pictures. Do you remember that?
I do. I have the pictures.
And then we took pictures while we were there. So there were so many pictures taken, it escaped me that the three of us did not take a picture.
Okay. You're saying in your read, you think I was having trouble leaving. Mm-hmm. I wasn't having trouble leaving my son. I was having trouble leaving a job undone. And so it takes time. Just like when you're driving out of town, I'm probably the last one in the house. That's why we don't have to worry about the iron being left on or the stove running or, whatever. Like, I will do the walkthrough to make sure after everybody's outside, is the air conditioner set at the right temperature? Or there's the water not running? Oh, the toilet's running? Let me turn that faucet off. Like, that time, you have to be in the moment. And there was pressure from you to move and finish it prematurely, as I was thinking. And so I know that's how you felt. You felt like I was having trouble leaving the boy. Mm-hmm. I don't have trouble leaving the boy. He's an hour away. I can see why you would think I had trouble leaving him, but it wasn't about leaving him. It's about leaving the job.
Okay, so let's move past. It's Tuesday. We left him on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about how things are different. I'll start. Walking past his room is different immediately because, you guys, like you said, you guys left before we did. So when you guys left, I remember, like going to the laundry room and you walk past his room and you go to the laundry room, laundry room, but the difference was it was very quiet. Very quiet, and it was a different quiet.
Because he screams profanities at the top of his lungs while playing his video game.
This is true, but it wasn't just that. It was, when you typically walk past his room, it's a mess. So in your mind, you're like, I'm going to have him clean his room when he comes back. But this time, it's like, yeah, there's some things out, but it's like he's not coming back. So it's just quiet. It's very different. And then there's the struggle to, how much do you reach out? And I really believe we would drop him off and I would be like, okay, see you when I see you. And, let him be who he's going to be and have a good time. And we'll check in on him once in a while. But like Monday, we were like, hey, how you doing? Are you okay? Do you need anything? I don't even think it was Monday. It was probably Sunday evening. We were like, what are you doing? Have you gone to eat yet?
That's the tone that you talk. I don't talk in that tone, but that is the tone which you wrote.
100%. I really thought I was just going to be, like, peace out, I'll see you later. But I find myself holding back. Like, I really want to know, how are you doing? Mm-hmm. How was class? Did you get to class on time? Did you shower? These are all things you want to ask. And then you're like, don't do it. Hold back. So at least 15 times, maybe 20 times today, I want to reach out and I'm like, leave the boy alone. Let him just do him. So it's difficult to not reach out and ask because you really want to. And I'm sure other people are also reaching out. So it's like, Mom, it's not just you wanting to reach out 20 times. It's 5 or 6 or 7 other people that also are reaching out. So it's difficult to reach out. How are you doing?
I don't have a problem reaching out. When I moved to college, there was one phone on the floor. So there's probably 100 kids. Maybe there's 2 phones. There's probably 100 kids and 2 payphones, one in each corner.
Wow.
And so there's a building it's 5 floors, and there's 2 phones on each floor if they're all working. And you have to count on the fact that if the phone rings, somebody's going to answer it and say, hey, which room? Mm-hmm. And then they'll come down and knock on your door. And that was how it worked. So
wow. So
there was no phone in my room at the time. There was a payphone on the hallway. And that's just what it was. I got letters in college, so it wasn't always normal to have this level of contact. But once again, the impact of the internet has changed everything. There's regular in-touch communication between friends at a distance that changed the game. Yeah. So I don't have a problem communicating with them. And I think it'd actually be kind of cruel to not reach out. Because it's like, just because I moved out, you're depriving me of normal family communication. Mm-hmm. But what I am reining myself in on is the management of his situation and reminding myself that it's his situation.
Yeah.
So I will check in, and you've done a good job because you write, like, when I'm in there still doing some management in the text, you're like saying, you're very supportive with your messages. Like, do you need any supplies? Let us know. I know you can do it, and all that kind of stuff. And I notice it. Meanwhile, I'm like, dude, did you make the appointment?
Yes, I know. I'm trying to balance that out because I understand that you guys would meet each other every day at 10 a.m. And so you're still in management mode. Like, have you checked your email? Did you respond to this? Did you do this? Have you done this? Have you been here? Have you been there? And I'm like, or are you okay? Did you eat breakfast today? And let us know if you need anything. I know you can handle this. Because really, I'm at like, whatever mistakes he's made or going to make, our parents they didn't have this type of access to us. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but it's not that time anymore. It's been 30 years since that time.
It is, but still, I want him to have the time that I had, which is, let me discover who I am and let me discover my mistakes and let me make them, like the pool of water on his floor on Tuesday.
Right, yeah. So there's stories and all that
already.
But my point is, you can't give him what you had because that world doesn't exist anymore. If I say, I only want you to have the communication that I had, the level of communication that I had when I went to college, then that means check your mailbox because I'm going to send you a postcard and I'm going to call the payphone every so often, call a long distance at cost and speak to you very short. And since that's not the case, that's not the world anymore, I'm okay with making adjustments in my approach so that I'm doing less management and allowing him to make the mistakes and to learn and to do it his way. But I'm not going to draw back my level of communication with him around just relationship communication, because I think that to do so would change and hinder the relationship. So I don't want to be telling you what to do. I don't want to be double checking your thing,
Right.
but I do want to know how you're doing.
Yes.
I do want to make sure you feel supported. I want to make sure that you hear the funny stories, the things that you missed at home.
Yeah.
And so that level of communication, I'm going to keep to natural. Whatever feels natural to me, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I totally understand that, and that's who you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I would like to do the same thing. I think about him probably 50 times, but I don't want to reach out 50 times. You know, I don't want him to feel like every time I reach out, he feels obligated to respond, because sometimes you're with your friends, you're doing stuff. I don't have the time to hit you back. I get that. I'll hit you when I can. So I try to hold back the amount of
Well, that's
times
what
that I
text
hit
is
him.
for. Text allows you to respond without being disruptive to
True,
what's happening
but
around
some
you.
people can get in their feelings when you don't hit them right back. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not that person. I never want to put that on anybody. It's just, I brought this subject up just to say that it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought that, I'd be home happily empty nesting and, just concentrating on work all day and getting all the things done. It's just one less person that interrupts your thoughts, or that you're thinking about in terms of all of the moving and the processes that had to get done before it left. But it's really not. It is, I'm happy for you. I'm happy you're there. And I find myself constantly just wanting to be that fly on the wall to check in, to see how you're doing. And so I think that it's going to take me some time, I don't know how long, to get used to him being gone.
Okay. Cool. So put a pin in it. We'll find out what it feels like over time.
Yeah.
And in terms of, it's a new normal for everybody. It's a new normal for him, and his role is expanding, our role is contracting, and that's just going to be it.
Yeah. Side note, like we were talking earlier today about, we're minus one kid, and you're like, yeah, we're really not.
We're net zero.
We're net zero because our daughter has come down. So we're like, lost one, gained another.
Right.
We still got 2 kids in the house.
Right. A lot of fun. And shout out to North Carolina A&T.
They did a good
because
job.
the 2021 registration process was smooth. Not that it was without hiccups, but I highly recommend that school so far for that process. I expect them to be excellent academically. I expect the community and the alumni support to be huge, and the staff and faculty support to be huge. And we'll report on that as it happens.